Hey, I'm Ashley Etling, the CEO and co-founder of Limeloop, and thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Vinnie.
Ashley, look forward to this presentation.
Yeah, so as we continue to shop online, boxes are piling at our front doors, our home. As you can see, our recycling bins and our streets are overflowing. And really, it's just becoming frustrating for us. It's bad for the environment and really costly for retailers. And what we came to at Limeloop really is that it doesn't have to be this way. And it's why we really created it, which is everything retailers need for sustainable shipping. And if you can believe it, just in the time you and I have been talking, 20,000 packages were shipped, and it's growing to 2 trillion over the next 10 years. And that's representing over 3 trillion in revenue, millions of tons of waste and emissions, and thousands of hours of wasted time for these retailers. And so the online shopping experience, as we have found, can be more transparent. It can be efficient and friendlier to the environment. And you should be able to really shop guilt and worry-free. So we envision a shopping experience where you can now know what's going on with your package from when you click buy to when it's being more ecologically used again. Limeloop's smart shipping platform is how we're really getting there. So our combination of reusable packaging and a simple sensor creates a real-time lens into the e-commerce experience. This provides retailers with a powerful platform to effectively understand and auto-communicate with their customer, guide corporate responsibility and supply chain decisions, something all retailers are really trying to discover as they shift from brick and mortar to this more e-commerce economy.
So is it a single size, or do you have multiple size packages?
Yeah, we have multiple sizes that have really been guided by the retailers we work with, and that comes in a small package, a medium, and a large, which has modularity aspects to it. So it expands and contracts to allow for larger goods. Say maybe a down coat in the winter, now it can fit into this package.
And it looks like it's weatherproof too.
It is, and we've expanded also into grocery, as you'll start to see, which also allows for groceries and temperature monitoring as well. So delivering even beyond your traditional e-commerce to a lot of last mile delivery. So we're working with one of the largest retailers in the world, and through them, we're able to expand to other customers. So think other categories like pharmaceutical with CVS and Bed Bath & Beyond. So even your last mile delivery, being able to gain that in a reusable package. And then as we really continue to grow, also helping a lot of our retailers who are already on e-commerce platforms like Shopify and creating APIs to really connect with them and continue to add these layers of technology to allow them to really expand their reuse program, but also really start what we'll start to get into is add value in other ways as well, from the point of order to return.
Are there any postal regulations you have to be careful about as you get into food or other sensitive, temperature sensitive stuff?
So we've designed all the packages within the current carrier constraints when we think about size and we think about how they move through the full stakeholder system. So all the 3PLs and the carriers. So thinking about it from a very manual perspective, all the way to automation, ensuring that they move through safely, but also get the goods there from point of order to actually your front door.
Okay.
So as you'll see here, here's one of our medium Limeloop packages. And this is allowing us, where we started really in apparel, to expand into more industries. So as I mentioned, like pharmaceutical and body care, we're working on a lot of modular inserts that allow those goods to sit really safely, but also allowing our customers to add some customization and branding elements to the packages as well. And so at a simple level, the way that Limeloop works is that carriers begin the journey by shipping the products in a Limeloop smart reusable package. And then when consumers open them, we're providing our retailers with open rate data. 3PLs recollect the reusable packages, and then Limeloop's platform that we've developed guides redistribution of all those packages back to the brand so they can reuse them for over 200 times.
200, that's the, wow.
Yeah, we're seeing more, but in that sweet spot is that 200 time use. And then through that journey, real-time location tracking is captured, environmental impact data. So brands can really start to calculate and minimize and neutralize their ESG. Open rates and temperature data is also collected, and really working to up-level all that to predictive analytics to better guide a lot of our customers. And for our customers, this has resulted in 40% savings in packaging cost, millions of dollars of save time and inventory recovery. And then on the environmental side, 80% use of less of plastic is generated by using reusables, and then 90% fewer carbon emissions. So really allowing all these customers to meet their corporate responsibility goals.
So from a design perspective, I presume these packages have to go through several conveyor belts, and they survived that. They haven't had any issues with conveyors and other.
Yeah, so we've worked with some of those carriers to simulate test to ensure that the integrity of the packages holds up and the materials we choose. So as we continue to evolve the package, those are things we continue to adjust. One thing that we ran into very early on is actually the shipping label holder. Carriers like to use that to make markings. And so we continue to evolve the packaging in a way that really adapts to the current environment and ensure they can still do the job they need, but the integrity of our package still upholds.
You mean the QR codes and all the other stuff that stick on the back? Okay.
Exactly. So as we think about what's going on in the landscape, we really look at it as, this three-prong approach, really looking at reverse logistics, but also reusable packages, and then also consumer engagement. So, companies in this space have really, developed on each one of these aspects, but, no one has really brought it under one platform, saving retailers time and money to implement on their fulfillment processes. So at Limeloop, we're really building the platform to bring it all under one roof for tracking and accountability, and then saving brands a lot, not only on that environmental impact, but also really being able to decrease things like the amount of customer calls they receive. Some of the largest retailers receive 25 million calls each year, which is people asking, where is my package? So being able to know when the package has been opened or real-time tracking, now we can start to, in a real-time way, better understand and answer those questions. By knowing the package has not been opened, those can go back on the shelf when we think about return recovery. So I think we're just scratching the surface of where the market is today, and especially where it's going.
What's the barrier to entry?
Yeah, the barrier to entry, I'd say, is just the full system. One, we're working in this entry point of a shift from brick and mortar to e-commerce. And with that, I think we just saw probably like 25% of retail is e-commerce. So we're still in those early stages of it. And you continue to see two main things: a lack of visibility, and then two, the environmental impact. And a lot of that happens on now this new stream of reverse logistics. So the more we can continue to solve for how returns are handled, how communication is handled throughout that whole process for all the stakeholders, and up-level that in a more automated way, it continues to save brands time and money, which we really see as a double bottom line effect. If we can continue to add that profitability, then we can also continue to add that impact from a sustainability standpoint.
What do you consider your biggest competition? Is it still the traditional boxes, corrugated boxes, or what do you consider your competition?
Yeah, so no one has really entered the full space of all three aspects we really look at. We look at the return space and what's going on there, post-purchase experience like Narvar. And then we do look at some of the reusable packaging companies, and then look at what we're really building in that center, which is bringing all those together in one space, but really look at the company as a tech-forward approach. So while this packaging is more of a vehicle to gather all that information to really make that double bottom line impact.
Now, isn't reverse logistics a lot of companies are outsourcing that, right? So 3PLs are doing that for them. And this still works in a 3PL reverse logistics setting.
It depends on the 3PL. Some 3PLs have decided to intake packages now, and others have not. So that's where we've started to see companies like Happy Returns, really expand. So recollection and primarily focused on returns, and then also the resale market. Seeing companies like Trove who will actually take those packet returns back and put it into a resale market for these brands. So we continue to see this end of the market stream of trying to capture value out of that inventory as we see an increase in returns with e-commerce.
We did some returns at Whole Foods this weekend. Amazon is now allowing you to return at Whole Foods. And I was thinking, I wonder how much Amazon is saving with that. Certainly the customer experience is better, right? You just take it in and just scan the QR code, and it's their problem from there on. But I'm sure the process from there back to merchant must be messy.
Yeah, and that's where we, continue to look at our value and how we're building it, which is adding visibility into that and better guiding where those products go. And again, how do you continue to capture value from that and make sure that they don't end up in a landfill? So kind of continue that two-prong approach. And so I think all in all, we have a great team behind us who is really building a lot of the things we're talking about. And so continue to not only do it with the internal team and an excellent leadership team, but also great advisors and investors that really come from this kind of full sphere of how we're building the company and look at it. So like Patrick McGrath, who leads all the logistics for e-commerce at Target, to Christina Omari, who was really thick in Lyft and expanding that. So looking at from a whole transportation of how we look at the future of cities, all the way to folks who are deep in retail, like Gordon Seabury, who has led Toad & Co., an apparel company, for 25 years in sustainability. So I'd say we're really excited to, not only expand the team, but continue to broaden it as we look at the growth of the company.
Actually, what's your background? You said apparel. Did you have a logistics background or more? Certainly your team sounds like it does, but
so my background's been in supply chain innovation. I've built 3 companies around it. The last one, we are building enterprise software to really help the front end of supply chain and develop products easier for customers from Walmart to Target to GE. So definitely have this love for solving big problems. And I think Chantal Emmanuel, my co-founder, really came together with taking that passion and that knowledge of retail, but really bringing that together in a way of doing good with the data and the software we can actually gain.
It's all kinds of opportunities, right? If you could only solve the problems in the ports of Los Angeles, we'd be but the whole reverse logistics, mind-boggling the opportunities there. So
it is. Yeah,
and the whole sustainability angle. Just thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to share with you, and love what you're working on and continuing to share others' ideas.
Ashley, thank you so much.